accomplished and divine. Our gentlemen, our brothers, accomplished and determined. Yet, as society see us, we must still change the narrative. Yes, who are we? We are Badass Us. Here on Vision and Purpose Media Productions. We'll be right back at you. Thank you. Clear?
Yeah, I'm sorry, clear.
I was like, wasn't clear.
It's a long
I said you off today.
All holding our
I
breath.
know. So look, you wasn't ready. I saw. That's why I stopped. I can see you didn't have me off of mute. So did we catch up?
Yeah, we got it.
All right, shut the door so I won't be looking in there seeing what you're doing. Cause see, as long as I can see what you're doing, I know when you wasn't ready. So that made me stop.
What, 30 seconds?
All right. Even though he did the countdown, he wasn't with the count.
She's always going to be. We got your one.
Yeah. I just stopped.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Welcome back, everyone, to Badass Us. That's right, that's who we are, Badass Us, here on Vision and Purpose Media Production. And we got to start having so much fun on commercial break. But today, again, it's all about family matters, and I have the team with me. So it's time to introduce the team. Beside me, I have Belinda Stevenson. How are you today?
Hello everyone, I am great.
And Marjorie Militant.
Hi, I'm good too.
Yes, and guess what, ladies?
Oh.
We both drum roll. We have Mr. Lee Mantley back with us.
Yes.
joining
Well, good
the
evening,
team.
ladies. It's a pleasure to be with you again.
Yes,
It's a
yes.
pleasure to have
The
you
voice.
back.
Yes,
The
that
voice.
deep
The voice. That's
voice.
what we call the voice.
Yeah. What we call them?
The voice.
The voice. You like that?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
All right.
And he know how to agree with three women.
That's
don't
right.
he?
Huh?
He-
So many
Smart
problems.
man.
And look, he like, I better not.
That's came with experience.
You get no trouble out of me.
Exactly.
And he was starting a little trouble before we came on because
Oh,
he
yeah.
reminded Marjorie that she didn't get him no water for 2 months in a row. But I ain't the one to gossip.
She didn't hear from you.
No, not for me. This is fun. So we just love having fun here. And actually, this topic is all about Mr. Lee. So we just wanted to say, Mr. Lee, thank you for this topic. Mr. Lee said he wanted to just dig in. Let's go deep about
Okay.
extended family.
All right.
This is a nice one for family
Yes, it
matters,
is.
isn't it?
Yes.
So extended family. So Mr. Lee, we're just gonna come to you and just say, why did you want to do this topic, and what's the importance of extended family to you?
Well, there are several issues to consider, and I'd like to use myself as an example.
Yes.
If you hadn't thought about it, let's begin extended with the generation before us. That would be our parents. And then the generation before them would be our grandparents. So somewhere between those two generations, we have siblings, we have aunts and uncles, and we have cousins. In that, we also have a family history of illness. All right, I have blood pressure, high blood pressure because my mom had it. The members of my family, my parents, my brother, my aunt, all died of cancer. So again, when we start to look at the extended family, we have an opportunity to pay attention to our family history and health. And I thought it would be worth exploring. Let me add this little tidbit. If you go back 2 generations in my life, that's my father and my grandfather, then you're talking 150 years back. I want you to think about that, ladies. I want you to go back 150 years from today. We would be in the 1800s.
Wow.
That's when my great-grandfather was born, in the 1800s. So what was going on then, for whatever we think we know about the lives that we live, we know about our parents, some of us know about our grandparents, but then there's a gap. There's not always the information, particularly in our health. You know, why do we have some of the conditions that we have, diabetes, cholesterol, things of that nature? And who keeps the family history going? Who is recording our family history? So our children and our grandchildren and our nieces and nephews know about what happened in our lifetime, in the lifetimes before us. So that's where I came up with the idea.
Love it. That's good.
Yes, I do too, you know, because it's just funny that Belinda and I just been talking about family a lot lately, and then when I talked to him on Sunday night, that he said that he wanted to do, well, Monday, I'm sorry, when we talked on Monday, let's explore family, extended family. And to me, extended family is very important because, like you said, you get the chance to know your history and your bloodline, you know, just and as she was saying, because diabetes and hypertension runs in the family. And it's funny how it can be in your DNA. So no matter how well I eat and much as I'm working out, I still got my family traits, you know. So and so that's, you know, and I was just even sharing that with Belinda. Oh, wow, this is just like deja vu a little bit. Huh?
Yeah, we were on the phone for 4 hours.
Oh, she talked too much. That's why, Mr. Lee, she talked too much. Yes, yes,
We
yes.
talk about family.
Yeah, isn't that something?
Yeah,
And
it
then the
is.
very next day, I talked to Mr. Lee. He said, "Let's talk about extended
We
family."
must have heard it.
Yeah, yeah,
From our mouth to the voice ears.
yeah. So, Marjorie,
Well,
what do?
I think this is a great topic. And I thought about what you said, you know, as far as how there's some things that we don't know. And the reason why we don't know is because they didn't know what people had. But then when you look back on it, you can figure out, hey, well, that person probably had diabetes.
Exactly.
Or that person might have died of cancer. You know, now we have more knowledge. So,
Right. If you're my age, when I was coming up, they didn't call it diabetes. They said you got the sugar.
correct.
Oh yeah, you got sugar.
Got the sugar.
Yeah, you got the
Right?
sugar.
And as a kid, oh, what does that mean, kind of thing. And we need to record these things. We need to. All right? I think it's important for all of the right reasons. What we eat and don't eat will still give us some idea about what our family history is.
Right.
I didn't, to give you an example, I never got to meet my father's mother. All right? Never got to meet my mother's father. Those were people in the family that I never got to meet.
Right.
All right? So that's a part of our history. There's the gap. All right? And siblings. I have a whole host of second cousins. These were my aunt's children. Well, that's the bloodline. Are we staying connected? Do we know who these folks are? Are we making it possible for us?
Yeah.
Okay? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say anything to upset you.
You think?
Okay.
Just made her think
All right.
about some things.
So, and that's just it, you know. We was just talking on Sunday, and I was just telling her, you know, my family, we are so close, and we have a very short lifespan. So you just like, just touching on this whole conversation come back up again. Didn't know it was gonna hit me today, but
Right.
it's good. And you know, that's why for me, you know, it's important that our family, we always pray. We always pray together. We always tell each other we love us, and we can just have some moments that we just don't like each other for in that moment.
Every time we-
But yes, in my household, we never went to bed My mom wouldn't allow, we didn't go to bed upset with each other. No matter what, we still just had to pray and just love each other out. So that was just a blessing thing that's in the family. And I do say you do need to know your family history, because my family passed, so have a short lifespan. My grandparents I never met on either side. They passed at 49, 50. So my family lifespan is 50 years old. People hear me tell this story all the time. So I never got a chance to meet neither of my grandparents on my mother's side or my father's side. Her sister, my mom's sister, passed at 49, her brother 50, you know, her mother 49, her father 50, you know, so it's just that short lifespan. So, you know, it's so, but it's still important for us to know our bloodline, our family history. Even though my family passed at such a young age, you know, I still know so much history about my family, you know, and that's
good.
yeah. You know, because my mom, when I asked her, how was my grandmother, how was my grandfather, you know, and I did have meet my great aunt, you know, so I got a chance to meet Aunt Dot. So Aunt Dot was like the grandmother, big mama in the family. So you know, my great aunt, she gave us a lot of history as well, you know. So
Yeah,
so.
and then
Go ahead.
it's important not only for your health, well, it is important for your health purpose, but also when you go to the doctor. You know, when you know your family history, you're not only, because it may not be, I might not get diabetes or high blood pressure because my parents did, but I will be treated differently because they know diet is passed down generation to generation. So a lot of times they want to, you know, kind of educate you early on so you won't pass, it won't be a pattern pathology. But it is important to know your family history. So when you go, you'll know that you'll be treated different if you have a family history of cancer, you know, or different type of ailments. And a lot of people don't realize that. And a lot of things could be detected early on because you will be treated. If you had a grandparent or an aunt who had cancer in her 30s, you know, because they don't want you to get mammograms until you're in your 40s, right?
That's something you should disclose.
Exactly. But if you know that someone had it in their 20s or their 30s, you'll be treated differently.
Right.
So it is important to get to know.
And I was going to say too that it's funny how it depends sometimes, just from my observation, on where you are from, how you keep up with your family history. Where my father is from, because it was a black-owned island, they were a close-knit community, and they have always kept the traditions and the history, and you know everything about them. My mom is from close to Richmond, and even though we're close to her family, we don't know as much about her family as we do about my dad's, because they don't keep, you know, the traditions of when they were growing up. So that's interesting too.
Yeah, it's just funny just how this family, the whole thing is, and even when it comes to mental health. I remember going to this class, Diane Smith and her son Joshua, they teach this class, and it's just starting to catch on over here in the States, but he's over in Paris, and it's called yoga, something like that, yogasm, that's it. Yeah, I was like, wow, okay, that's a name. But when he started to bring it down, like even with mental health, like it comes from us being in slavery with our parents and, you know, our ancestors rather back then, being in slavery and the stress and everything that they was under is, you know, then now it's in the DNA.
Oh, yeah.
It's a
and you
generational
can't. Yes, and so because it definitely mental health running in our family as well, and more so. And if you look at the family down south, you know, I was like, wow, you know, it was just an educational lesson, you know, to just say that it's in your DNA. And I thought about my friend. I just had a friend when we was coming up. She was so depressed during her whole pregnancy. Just so depressed.
And that's a whole nother level.
Yes.
Your hormones are all out of whack.
Yes, and it was, you know, just the relationship, you know, with their father at the time. It was just, yes.
Look at the voice over there laughing.
Yes,
at me.
yes.
Yeah, I had to chime in on that one.
Yeah, oh yes, definitely. That she stayed depressed so during the whole time that they end up had to take the baby because the baby was giving up. you know, yes, that she was so depressed during the whole pregnancy that the baby ended up taking on that. So the baby was depressed to the point it had, you know, it was giving up life. It had made a bowel movement inside of her, so it was like it's time. So they had to do emergency surgery to save the baby. And so that's
Even
just
with breastfeeding,
yeah.
everything you give it to that
Yeah.
baby, it's transferable.
Yes.
And that baby's in your womb.
Yes.
So that's why it is important for women to get help during
Yeah.
pregnancy, because a lot of times you're suffering. It's a transition. You look at it like this: when women have their monthly cycles, you
Yes.
know,
Yeah.
your hormones are all out of whack. You turn into, you can either be the most loving person or the most hated person on earth during that time.
Yes.
Right.
And people don't realize the chemical imbalances that happens in the brain when your body is going through this metamorphosis.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah.
imagine you giving life, and that baby's already taken everything
Right.
out of you for just to survive.
And those are things that were taboo to talk about, mental health.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Mr. Lee, see what you started? A good thing. This is a
Well,
good thing.
This is the whole idea of the topic is, what I'd say to you is, let's explore it.
Yes, that's what you
Not to
said.
end it, but just kind of open it up to see what it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't always feel good. Because what concerns me about what you were saying, Karen, is the life expectancy in your family history,
Mm-hmm.
but you didn't talk about how your family members kept dying.
Mm-hmm.
What was the illness? What was the common thread?
Mm-hmm.
Was it cancer? What was it?
Yeah, that's earlier when I said high blood pressure and diabetes. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, sugar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can tell how old you are if you hear them say they got the sugar.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And we don't
yes.
realize how it's just diet. Everything is diet.
Yeah.
You know, it's just making that change. And it's not easy when you're used to, you know, you're used to eating bad for 30 years of your life and then having to make that transition. But it doesn't have to be drastic. It just be one meal at a time. If you just, one meal. You know, just make a change.
And it is, I'm sorry, it is part of the DNA, because I remember when I was in the doctor's office and she told me I was borderline. I mean, I cried so hard too, I made her cry. I was like, what, me? I don't eat meat. I work out every day. And my sister, she still eat pig feet. Nothing wrong with her. And here I am. I don't eat meat. I don't do this. I don't eat fried food. And I don't even drink soda.
Well, you
sugar.
eat enough though. A lot of people think 1 meal a day. I'm supposed to eat 1 meal
Yeah,
a day.
and that's what she said. She said,
Social
I
pressure.
want you to stop saying that you eat so healthy.
Mhm.
She said, no, when you eat, you just make healthy choices, but you need to start eating. You know, so,
Right, that's true.
yeah, just running and not eating, and you know, just the stress of it all of the day can even be, like you said, it be even more when you're not eating. You know, your sugar start feeding on itself.
Yeah.
That's
You,
true.
you hear me? That the sugar start feeding.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, in my family, my dad died of cancer, but he was 85. But when I was younger, he was always had stomach pains. And that was a disease that nobody knew about. He had diverticulitis.
Oh yeah.
But they didn't know at that time.
Back
Yeah.
then.
And because he was a
Painful.
social worker, they always thought, oh, well, he probably has an ulcer. And they would test him for an ulcer, and he never had an ulcer. So all it was doing was just destroying his insides.
Yes.
And so, but then, I mean, he lived a, a long, wonderful life. But just the fact that some things we don't know about, and some things they do kill us.
Yes, yes. I tell you, so I just, as we go into commercial break, and then we have to come back and finish some of it off, just do you think, does your extension family help make up who you are today? And how is that? Why are you essentially shaking your head first, Margie? I will come to you.
Yes, of course they do. Because talking about my father, when he and my mother got married, they became a team. And they always taught us the same things. And the things that they taught us were to stick together. Your family's important. You got to watch out for your sisters and your brother. You have to watch out for other people. And that's what we do. So we're very close. The 5 of us are very close. And like you said earlier, sometimes we don't get along. But very rarely, and it's not hard for us to get back together.
Yeah, get back on track.
But we always watch out for one another. We all have strengths, and we use those strengths to make the family strong.
Mr. Lee?
Well, I just find it interesting, we keep using the word close without any definition. When you say your family is close, what are you really saying? What does close really mean?
Mhm.
You know, when you get together and eat and laugh and talk and listen to music, all right? But how does that play into what you really know about family history and health? And that's what we're talking about. Or we're talking about mental health. When you don't want to talk or won't answer the phone or won't respond to the texts, is that because somebody is depressed? Is somebody hurt? What's going on with our family? Well, we know that about so-and-so.
Right.
That kind of thing. That's what helps us have a better understanding of what kind of family are we a part of.
Mhm. Well, I think that's why I said earlier that we all have strengths, so we all know what each other's weaknesses are too.
Okay.
And so we do know, oh, well, she didn't answer the phone, that means that something's going on. Or,
Right.
you know,
Yes.
whatever it is
Yes.
you're trying to say.
Yes. Well, this is great. So I'm going to get your answer right after the commercial break. We'll be right back at you here on B.A.A.D.A.S.S Us.
B.A.A.D.A.S.S Us. Yeah, that's right. That's who we are. B.A.A.D.A.S.S Us. What? Who are we? We are women. Beautiful, accomplished, and divine. That's right. B.A.A.D.A.S.S Us. Yeah. Who are we? We are gentlemen. Our brothers, accomplished and determined. Yet, as society see us, we must still change the narrative. Yeah, that's right. Who are we? The black community. Remember us? We are accomplished. We are determined. We are divine. We are of greatness. That's right. The black community. B.A.A.D.A.S.S Us. Who are we? That's right. Who am I? I am the person committed to building the next community movement. What about you?
Our guest, the voice, Mr. Lee. This conversation is near and dear to Karen's heart, as all of us, but a little bit more, you know, with her. And it is truly a joy to talk about this subject.
Yes,
Considering we talked for 4 hours on the phone on Sunday night about it. We're just going to recap.
Yes, it is.
So your question was, does your extended family make up who you are?
Yes.
And for the most part, yes, for sure. Because my family originated from the South. And we already know how life was in the South for people of color. And, you know, I'm open about my mental health issues. And these things did not just rise up out of nowhere. And you don't know what you don't know, but once you start to do the work on yourself, you can start to see it in other people in your family. And then when you hear stories, you realize that, oh, okay, that was before me. You know, and so you know that it's been passed down from generation to generation, and black people are already predisposed to it anyway, you know, and that's just from hundreds of years ago. So it's embedded in all of our DNA, pretty much. So yeah, it has helped make me who I am today, and I'm okay with it. At one time, I would be like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. Why I have to, you know, I'm such a good person. You know, you go through all those things. I'm such a good person, but you know, anxiety and depression, it has hit all of us one way or the other. You probably just didn't know, because depression doesn't always look like sitting in the room with the windows closed, you know, the shades drawn and crying. It doesn't look like that. You can
function.
Yeah, you can very, very much so function.
Right.
Because it's your habit. You know, you've built up these routines and these habits that you do every day, and not realize that, you know, you really have things that's going on that's a little bit deeper than that.
Yeah, I know. It's just still so taboo how we talk about mental health. And me, myself, I'm just like, we all have, we all have mental health. There's different levels of mental health. And like you say, mental health don't always have to show up as that person, being in a room and just can't get out of bed. It shows up in a lot of ways,
When you say I have OCD, that's mental health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not normal behavior.
Yes.
Yeah, people don't realize it. We use that term. So, OCD.
But we have to function because we have to work.
Yeah.
We have to take care of our families.
Mhm.
And especially in the black community, that's what we're used to doing.
Mm-hmm.
You just do what you gotta do.
Mm-hmm. But you have to do the work so you can function in a way that's actually productive.
Yes, but I'm just mostly talking about in the past.
Yes,
You know, now
for
it's
sure.
not as much taboo. I know with my kids, it's not taboo.
Mm-hmm.
That generation, they talk about mental health.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Now, but we talk about it, but we still don't do nothing about it
Yeah.
too, though. So that's the part that still need to pick up. That's why I always commend Belinda for how open she is and the work that she did to get herself to be at a balanced place. Because we can now, we starting to talk about it. It's not as taboo as you say, but still, when you ask the person, well, what you doing? It's still so many people walking around right now and feel that if they go to the doctor and get on medication or some form of medication or whatever, oh no, I got it under control all by myself.
I'm good.
I'm good. Yeah.
But if you have high blood pressure, you use medicine. So
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, but and even with that, they even with childhood, if we talking about that, diabetes or hypertension, they still kind of hide it more, than we as an adult, because I know, and I'm going to be real, because like I said, I was in there crying so hard that I made my doctor cry. I'm serious, guys. And that got to be a real hard cry. Anytime you make a professional cry, she had to excuse herself and then come back in the room. I had her crying so hard with me, because I was like in denial. No, this can't be. No.
You did the work.
Yeah. So, because I'm
I have a
like,
lot of vegan friends like that.
yeah.
You'll be sicker than somebody walking
Yeah.
around with the pork chop in their mouth,
Yeah,
with the
yes.
Coca-Cola, washing it down.
Yes.
But you know what came to my mind just now is I was thinking about how when you're a child and you have parents, you always consider them to be as one.
Mhm.
And then when you get married to someone from another family
Mhm.
and you have children with them,
Mhm.
you've got to deal with those things too.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure my parents had to do it too, but as the child, I never even thought about it.
Yeah.
But with my own children, I did have to think about it. It's that's another animal.
Mhm.
So.
So, Mr. Lee, what about family outside of your bloodline, your extended family outside of your bloodline? What do that look like? It can be the people you work with, your community family, and then of course we have the spiritual family. So, how important is that as well? Because we sit here, we know it's important to know our family and our extended family, but I think, that family, that extended family outside our bloodline is just important to us as well. What you think about that? Let's
Well,
explore that.
Yeah, but let me before we get there,
Okay.
let's go back to see if we really know how to identify what we're calling mental issues.
Mm-hmm.
You brought up depression and the impact that it's had and what you're doing about it, learning how to be your own advocate. But one of the areas that it's very difficult for us to talk about, us meaning people of color,
Mm-hmm.
is how we process grief.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
All right? And
We
we're
talked about that.
usually scared of it.
Yes.
And what makes us scared of it isn't the intellect, it's the emotion.
Mm-hmm.
All right? So we're not in denial, we're in avoidance. I'm okay when I'm really hurting. So where is the family support if you're holding on that tight? All right? It's another area worth exploring. And by exploring, I'm talking about it at length to where you might feel it on the air. But that's part of being healthy.
Exactly.
Extended family, what Margaret just said, you marry into somebody else's craziness. All right? And, I mean, when you look back and think, well, I mean, I had it for her, but I didn't know about all this other.
I saw that.
Yeah.
And then you passing it down to my children?
Yeah, that's a whole different area.
Right.
If I had known then what I know now, all right, all of their health issues,
Yes.
and it
Right.
usually doesn't get talked about during the dating.
Right.
Oh,
See, but this is, what did I say? I said when everybody's so busy worrying about getting marriage counseling, no, we need to be going to the therapist.
Yes.
That's the counseling you need first.
Yes.
And then you go to the marriage counselor to see if I can deal with this craziness that he has going on. But
But then again, nobody's showing that side of themselves when you're in the stage.
look,
But that's
because
how
I
you
learned a
go
new
because
word.
regression therapy will bring certain things
Yeah.
up.
Look, yeah, because you're right, Marge, because the representative always
Right.
showing up. I love that new
Yeah, I
word.
heard you know representative. Yes,
Yeah,
but-
because the representative always showing up. But Mr. Lee, you are right too about grief. Grief is another form of mental health as well. And with all the death that happens in my family, you know, and I think that's why when is anyone that I know that have a loss, I have seen it so much in my family that I instantly want to reach out to that person in that quiet, still way, you know, and just have my presence to be there because it's a process and everybody grieve in their own different ways. And I just always like to say, trust the process. You have to trust the process because it is a
The
process.
stages of it.
You know, it's different stages of you're gonna go through. You're being sad, you're angry, you're mad, you're hurt, you're disappointed, and then a part of you feel like you have died. And you know, and I even said it on here before. And the hard part that we don't want to talk about definitely when it's so immediate and someone that we love so dear, you know, you 1 foot in and 1 foot out of insanity. You know, when you're going through grief, that's what grief really is. 1 foot in and 1 foot out of insanity, and you have to fight and find your way of how you're going to keep your sanity and be able to allow yourself to go through the grief and the process. Because the more you deny it, the more that you stay stuck in that place of and it shows up.
And then you
in
don't
other
get
ways.
help. We after the funeral, you know, we go back home.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's gone, and then you go back to business as usual. But it's
Right.
not. Your life has forever changed.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Nobody wants to seek out, you know, groups, grieving groups, especially mothers that lost their kids and things like that. There's different groups out there, and the only person that can understand your pain is someone who's been through the same pain.
Right.
We don't utilize our resources because we're like, I got it, I'm just going to pray about it. That's fine. I'm not saying prayer does not work. Please do not misconstrue what I'm saying.
Right. Exactly.
But you do need something
more work.
other than that where you can actually, because if you're not in a space where you have gotten to the point where you can hear the voice of God talking to you, because we don't know that when you're a babe in Christ. But when you're going through it, you need to actually be with people, tangible people, where you all can have this conversation, people who've been through it, and they talk about how they got through it. And we don't do that. We just go back business. I lost mama, I lost grandpa, you know.
Well,
that's
wait a
good.
minute. Let's go back to this close family. Listen to what you're talking about. All right, we all experience grief, and we go after the funeral. Everybody go home, go back to their jobs, and you start to have these moments. The question then is, where is this close family?
Yeah.
That's different than coworkers and neighbors
Yes.
and associates
Yeah.
and acquaintances. What happened to the close family?
But it's also, the different circumstances bring different results.
Okay.
For example, when my father was in hospice, I moved to South Carolina and stayed there for a year until he passed away with my mom, and I helped her out. So when he died, everyone came, you know, for the funeral, and it was sad, and it was, you know, happy, and it was a funeral. And then they were gone, and I stayed for another year with my mom while she wrapped up everything before she moved up here. So they weren't there with, you know, with me. So that was something that I had to go through on my own.
But not even that. Statistically, it shows that people are easier to be more vulnerable with people they don't know than with people that they do know. Because you're a person that always come off strong in stature, you know, and just everything, I got this, you know. And they don't ever want people to see their vulnerable side, people that's close to them, because they have put themselves on this pedestal where I don't need anybody, I'm good.
Right.
They'll be more vulnerable to a stranger than they would someone else. It's unfortunate, but it's true.
Well, I can say that when my dad did die, because I'm the oldest, I was always the one who was strong. I'm always the one who's there when people die. I've told you all that before. And I was strong when they came, you know, helped to arrange the funeral and did all of that. And then when we went to view my father's body before the wake, like an hour before the wake, they had cut all the hair off my father's face. He had hair, you know, growing sideburns. And his mustache, cut it off too. That's when I broke down. Because
That was a
Because we
day.
just had that,
you know,
yeah,
yeah, so, you
But
know,
it really wasn't that did it. It was
yeah,
everything
exactly.
that that straw.
That was
That's
exactly. That's
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when I say
Exactly.
pressure cookers, you know.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. Yeah,
But
because
no one
Holding it
came
in,
to you
and
because
then-
they figure Margie is a strong one.
Right.
She's okay. She doesn't
Right.
need anybody.
yeah.
But I told her we do that to our own detriment, right?
Yeah, we do.
Yes,
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 we do.
yes, and it's not a strong one. Because I think we all need to grieve, and it's just some of us can still be productive in the time of grief, you
Right.
know, because I know it seemed
It's a
like
coping mechanism
right,
as well.
yes, exactly, because I know it seemed like I'm the one in the family. They all come to me. I do the obituary. I give the information. Have we done this? Da, 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 da. So you know the checklist. I'm the checklist girl. You know,
Everybody
so-
know I'm the crybaby.
yeah, yeah.
Don't come to me.
Yeah, and it's real. But look, and then to jump on, I wanted to tap in on what Marjorie said. I know, crybaby. I usually am too. You
I'm the
see,
big baby.
But Marjorie, now to talk about the marriage family. Man, I knew that family I was married into.
Like I thought my family was bad.
Yeah, I know. It's
Let
like,
me
what?
tell you.
Uh,
I was also sharing that my husband was the only boy with 5 sisters, a mother, and a grandmother. And I'll tell you, them sisters was something else. But I hung in there. And I was, you know, and we are just like now. In my husband's death, I was sharing that we actually got closer, my in-laws. In my husband's death, we actually got closer. Now I still vacation with them. You know, I got my niece-in-law. She works with us in the media production company. You know, so it's just great how. You know, but at the beginning, I just remember them sisters bad.
I had 5 sister-in-laws too.
Yeah. I look,
Put my foot
5.
down.
And my
That's so funny.
mother-in-law, well, my mother-in-law was so sweet. I'm glad I never had the typical
Yeah, I didn't
mother-in-law
have that
drama.
problem. Yeah.
But them sisters, I tell you, I just laugh now. I had one sister-in-law. She claims she don't remember this. This is this is a true story, guy. I was at my Greg, my husband's house at that time, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend, he's so cute. So he's sitting there watching a movie or whatever, and his sister come in the house, and she was like, well, can I use your car? And my nickname is Penny, everyone. So he said, no, I gotta take Penny home. She said, Greg, you're not gonna let me use your car? I'll be back. And he said, no, I gotta take Penny home. She said, oh, that heifer only live down the street, she can walk.
oh,
Like you remember saying that?
oh no. And you said she has no memory of it. She has amnesia about that story.
Now you remember. See, but people don't remember though.
Yeah,
they
because
affect
that's
Yeah.
just
They're
who
the
they
door.
are.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm telling you, and I was like, okay, do she realize I'm sitting here, Mr. Lee? I was like,
And you want to be nice and play good
yeah.
games.
So I just had to laugh it off. And then look, but when we walked out the door, she didn't get that car. I'm like, exactly.
Yeah.
That's right. He bet not get you that car. He taking me home. I don't care if I live little next door. He gonna see me to my door.
It is difficult because I had
Yeah.
5 sisters. Well, you know what? My sister-in-laws wasn't that difficult. I'm be honest with you.
Yeah.
They welcome me, but I mean, how can you not? You
Oh.
know? I didn't have a problem. I'm still very close with them. And my mother-in-law, I'm gonna always be her daughter-in-law.
Yes,
you know?
yes,
You
yes.
can't help either you gonna like me or you're not.
Yeah,
Yes.
my story's like that too because
Yeah, I was
my
yes.
children's father and I are not married anymore,
Yeah.
but I'm
Still
best
very
friends
close.
with his mother.
Yes, I'm
And-
telling
My
you.
sister-in-law
Yeah,
called me
My
for my
in-laws,
birthday.
we are like that.
Yes,
We are
yeah.
solid. And I was even
My
sharing because my husband passed, and you know, a parent never expect for their child to pass before them. So for me, I knew it was my job and my position now to just stay close to my mother-in-law. Because every time it was the eyes. Every time she see me, her eyes lit up. And I knew in that moment that it allowed, every time she see me, it allowed her to have a piece of her son
Right.
that she
That's
can
true.
hold on to. And that's why I stayed close to my in-laws, you know, because I wanted to be there for my mother-in-law. And I'm the only one out of the girls that got my mother-in-law to fly on a plane and go out of town with me when my husband passed too. I took her away. She never flew before.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and she was 80-something years old, her first airline flight, because I took her to Florida to
that's
my
nice.
godmother house. Miss Morgan, she let us come down and stay with her, you know, after grade had passed. We went down there and stayed 2 weeks with her, and she never flew before, and she got on a plane with me, and to this day, they was trying to get her to fly, and she never flew, but she only
that is
flew
so
with her favorite daughter. Yes,
You
yes.
know you bossy.
Yes, and look, and then I had the yes, who, me? And I had them to announce it. She was so surprised on the airline. They was like, "We got a first timer. We got a first time Ada Baker. We congratulate you." And she was like,
Oh,
you
that
know,
is so
so
nice.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
nice.
So we always have that moment.
Very nice.
Yes, Mr. Lee.
Don't surprise me none,
Don't surprise you none.
not at all.
Yes, yes.
Very quickly,
Yes.
we've talked about family and the extended or the in-laws. So when we get to coworkers or neighbors or people that we think we're close to, part of what I've learned how to do is pay attention to the people in my life that are helping me be a better person.
Right.
Now that may or may not be blood, but I
That's
pay attention to who I spend my time with.
Right.
That tells you the importance they have in my life.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm friendly with a whole bunch of
Yeah.
folks,
Mm-hmm.
but it ain't but a few of y'all.
Right.
All right, and
Why
that's
you looking at us like that?
because y'all have become a few. Ain't that few?
Okay, good.
Can't
There you
take
go.
it.
Thank
That
you,
way
Mr.
he
Voice.
can, unless Margie don't get him that water one more time,
Yeah.
we'll have to talk about that on his
It ain't
commercial
but-
break.
then they'll be saying it ain't but two of y'all.
Yes, and not three
Not a
no
few
more.
of y'all.
Right? Yes, yes. We are having too much fun. We'll be right back at you here on Vision and Purpose Media Productions. She is squeaking so
I
much
know.
today. You
Turn that thing down.
Hello, my name is Tamia Queen. I'm a residential services manager for Prestige Community Resources.
What our new facilities are respite centers. We're opening 2 in the city right now. Hopefully we'll expand to more. But respite centers are a place where people can come and get a little additional support with their mental health. Our one on Eastern Avenue is for men, and our one on Minnesota Avenue is for women. Our facilities are for all DC residents, especially focusing in on those in Wards 7 and 8. So they're really nice, and I'm excited for consumers to actually see them. What are the services that we're going to provide? Therapy, case management, medication management, all provided by professional staff, a licensed nurse practitioner, psychiatrists, sociologists, social workers, and then our paraprofessionals, our case managers. It's just a place where you can come and get the supports that you need to work on your personal goals, as well as to get your mental health straight. Simple, single adult, 18 years of age or older, a DC resident. You need to have insurance, but if you don't have it, it's okay. Still come, we'll work on getting you insurance. Have to have a negative COVID test, a negative TB test, and be willing to work on your mental health. For more information about respite services, you can contact us at 202-796-5000 or hit us up on our website at www.prestigecommunityresources.org.
Vision and Purpose Media Productions.
Can we hold hands?
Oh God, it is such a wonderful group of people here. We always cut it up. However, this has been a great show.
Yes.
And we are going to come back with the inspirational moment with Margie Middleton. She always has a phenomenal word for us and reel us back in.
Yes.
Yes.
So let's get it done now.
Yes.
Okay.
I want her to hold my hand. I
You
was
can
just
hold
nervous.
hands. You
Okay.
can hold hands, because we're going to pray.
She needed
The
it.
topic is honor the Lord, and it comes from Romans 14:8. If we live for the Lord. And if we die for the Lord. So whether we live or die, we belong to the Lord.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, say that one more time.
Romans 14:8 says, if we live for the Lord. And if we die for the Lord. So whether we live or die, we belong to the Lord.
Amen.
And
Well, so let me ask
yes.
you, instead of if, say when.
when we live, that sounds good. Right?
Mm-hmm.
When we live for the Lord. And when we die for the Lord. So whether we live or die, we belong to the Lord.
And he just rewrote the Bible.
Thank you, Mr. Lee.
Go ahead, brother.
From the book of Lee.
We had too much fun around here. Oh, I like that. The book of Lee. That's
It's all
all.
in the
Yeah.
That's funny.
What? This already
That's
what?
right.
So
How many books in the Bible?
66.
66.
Yeah.
67 now.
Yeah, I gotta say.
that's right.
The book of Lee.
And 7 is a biblical number.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's completion.
And
Yes.
the points are, in whatever we do or say, how we serve, we do it to honor God. So whatever we do and whatever we say, we do whatever those things are to honor God. Think before you speak. Do for others as much as you're able, not more than that. Sometimes we get ourselves in trouble with that. And love with an open heart.
Oh, that's so easy.
I love that.
Me too.
Yes.
The think before you speak part.
Yes.
I
Yes.
have mastered that.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I
That's
can't.
perfect. That's
I
good.
have mastered
A
that.
lot of people
Yes.
have not.
I come a long ways.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I'm thinking about what Mr. Lee said before we went to the break. That we have to be choosy about the people we consider to be important in our lives. Because those people are our ministry. Those are the ones that we minister to. You can't minister to the whole world. Sometimes we try to do that. But the smaller that circle is, the more that you can do.
Has no impact.
Yes. And I like honor the Lord because, you know, we have to learn, learning that, and you continue to learn that, and I'm continuing to grow in that. You know, the older I get, the more important, you know, I always say this is to live my life more Christ-like, and to help me do that is always remember what the 9 fruit of the Spirit is. That's why He gave it to us, because that will help you live your life more Christ-like. So, yeah, I want to honor Him and live more Christ-like. That's it. Mr. Lee?
See the difference between if
And when?
changes the whole context of it, doesn't
It sure does.
Yeah.
That's
If
right.
means you might do it, you might not.
Mhm.
But when
When
you're
you're
gonna
doing
do
it,
it,
you're actually
you're
doing it.
doing it.
It
Yeah.
clearly implies the blessing
Yes.
that we talk about, but do we really understand how blessed we are right now,
Mhm.
and how many people don't have what we have, and it was given to us by the one that has all power,
Right.
and
That's
He
very
chose
true.
us.
That's very
Because
Amen.
He knew you could handle the grief, and He knew you
Yes.
could handle the mental health, and He knew you could handle the family,
Mhm.
and He knew I could handle y'all.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah, thank you, Jesus.
Because I know we are helpful.
I thought I would end with that one.
Yes, no, that was a good one.
That was
a good. Listen, let me find out Mr. Lee can hang with us. All right.
He would not have come back if he could not.
Yes,
that's true.
We couldn't even
exactly.
Sometimes they don't come back.
Yes, I'm telling you, Marty better have his water next time. That's all I know. This is.
I'm gonna get him a cup.
Oh, you gonna get him a cup?
Yes, water on the rocks.
We gonna have
Hold hot
to.
water.
No, it's gonna call it the Book of Lee.
The book of me.
Yeah, that's what your cup gonna say. Your
No,
cup
he's
gonna
the
have to
voice.
say. Oh, okay, the
Well,
voice.
you know how it has two sides. We can do.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or just get two. Whatever one show up, that's the one we're gonna get.
Well, that's the voice.
But he does have the voice.
Yes, he does.
Yes,
he does.
I just remember in my 10 years, 10 years ago, Mr. Lee show was always before ours.
Okay.
and when we kind of, you know, how you get to
Yeah.
the station early,
Don't
I
sing
can
a song.
always, you know, I can always just hear that voice coming through the door.
Uh-huh.
Mr. Lee just got that distinct voice, you
Okay,
know, it was just made for air.
I thought you were gonna sing the song.
No, oh, lovely day.
Yes.
Yeah. Lovely day. Yes, that was your theme
That's what we
song.
need to be playing the day it comes on.
Oh,
You need to
yeah,
go
yeah,
when he's
yeah.
there.
Yeah, we gotta sing it.
No, we should just play it.
No, that would be disrespectful to the people who sung it before us.
But if it get in your
No,
spirit, then
we're good. My
okay.
spirit is just fine without you singing. You want to disrupt it? You want to bring me out of return?
Okay, yes. So Marjorie,
Mhm.
I'm going to ask, do you think that this aligns with us today? You know.
Your scripture.
This is a line, yes.
Look, she's
Yes.
like,
I didn't understand what you said.
I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah, I do. Because what I said was that our community, whether they're family or extended family, whatever you consider them, these are the things that you're supposed to do for that community. And like I said, you know, sometimes we try to do too much. But God gives us what we can handle.
Yes.
Mhm.
Amen. And that is so true. And just and we was just talking about that. Just want to end with even the spiritual family was one of the things is that we can talk about the extended family, and that's one thing I do look forward to our show, that we always ought to have that inspirational moment. And but our spiritual family plays a big part of our extended family too.
Yes.
So Marjorie, you know, when you're around, you just make Belinda cut up so much. But you know, so I wonder, is you a good influence on her or not? And what is up with your inspiration? Well, no, gosh, I did a Mr. Lee. Y'all saw that? That was pretty good, wasn't it, Mr. Lee? Yeah. But no, it really is. It's something about getting to this point and you doing an inspirational moment. We all anticipating and waiting, like, okay, what's she gonna give us this week?
Because again, we never know what her
Right.
inspirational moment is going to be until the day of,
Yeah.
and it always aligns with the subject matter.
Yes.
That's God.
Divine order.
That's right.
That's what happens when you do things in decency and in
In
order.
order.
That's true.
Yes, decency and in order.
Yes.
Yes, the spirit of excellence. You know, that's what I like to say. The spirit of excellence. That's you know, striving to operate in the spirit of excellence.
Yes.
What'd you say?
Maintaining the vision and purpose.
Oh,
okay.
Look at over there. Now, that's another chapter. What's that?
Move you about your seat and put Mr. Lee there.
That's right. Matter of fact, next month, Mr. Lee, you want to go ahead on and just bring us in and host this show? Show
No,
them what
ma'am.
you can do.
No, ma'am.
You don't want to show them what you how you used to
Karen, you
know
just
that?
put him on the spot. You don't.
Okay.
You just do it.
Okay, well, Mr. Lee will be hosting next month. It will be the Mr. Lee show
That's right.
Well,
with his
if-
ladettes.
I mean, if you're really gonna do it,
Okay.
We have to lean in for that.
then let it be. Let's go back to Lee's happy hour
Okay.
with vision and purpose.
All right.
Let's don't ever lose that. Let's
Okay.
just add a little flavor to it.
Yes.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Mr.
Okay.
Lee's
Sounds
happy
good.
hour.
That's right.
So that's time.
I
Our
like that.
water gonna be spiked.
That's right. With some crystal like that is.
Yes. I'm gonna say some sparkling water.
To all you viewers out there.
Have crystal light, everybody. You take it.
Yeah.
You get it.
But when I'm looking like this, okay, no.
Trust me, she ain't had no drinks.
I know that's right. Yes, I like that. So you're gonna bring Mr. Lee happy hour?
If you let me, I certainly will.
Okay.
Well, can I have wine on the set? Because all of us, I know all of us don't partake.
No, it can be Mr. Lee's happy hour. You know, show up, happy. Show up how
I'm
you
not
want
gonna
to show
have
up.
some mild back. Thank
Yeah. Yes. I'm afraid that Holy Ghost one.
That's right.
I know.
I can drink my wine.
Yeah. Oh, of course, because it's
Have
Mr.
communion
Lee's
on
That's all right,
happy hour.
communion.
So, Mr. Lee, so you want to give us what the theme is, everything, we're going to break it down,
Mhm.
and
I certainly will.
you're going to make sure you leave us in it?
Oh, absolutely. It couldn't happen without you all.
That's right.
Yeah,
Bring it with
you
us,
have
Mr. Lee. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to it.
Yeah.
Where is that? I mean, where is that? I gotta make sure I'm here.
The last
Sunday?
No,
the
the
last
fourth.
Tuesday.
Fourth
The fourth
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Okay.
That'll be
Not
fourth
the last
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah, the fourth Tuesday.
Okay.
That's
Fourth
right.
Tuesday.
Okay.
'Cause
Yeah,
next-
because
next
next
Tuesday
week
we
is
still in
the-
August.
Yeah, we
Right.
got
Oh.
5 this
Okay.
this month.
Okay.
So the fourth Tuesday,
Okay.
always on Family Matters Week.
September.
27th.
Mhm.
Okay.
So you're here.
All right, sounds good.
Mhm. Yeah. Hi.
I wasn't supposed to be, but I guess I will be.
Yeah, she'll be here.
Oh, Mr. Lee here.
That's right.
And it's happy hour.
Yes. No, so you bring the drinks and Marjorie, you bring the food.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm serious.
I'm serious too.
Alright.
We
I'm
gonna
gonna
be,
wear
can we
mine.
eat on the set and all that stuff and have our drinks?
It's all right with me if it's all right with you.
That's what make me happy.
Well, let me leave you with this.
Okay.
This is my motto.
Okay.
Okay, yes.
I am happy to have this opportunity to bring you conversation and information that might be helpful to you or someone you know.
All right.
Alrighty.
With that
That's
being
right.
said, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Until next time, stay in your vision,
We have to
stay
like
in your
Mr.
purpose, and God bless.
Mr. Lee.
All right.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.